Students, let's see if I can find this. Welcome. How are you today? I'm trying to figure out the lighting here. It's so bright outside, but I hate having the windows shut. All right, so Instructor Robertson here. We are starting week 2 of the Principles of Management course. And week 1, everybody did a good job getting through the syllabus, getting through chapter 1, looking at the PowerPoint, and I'm going through your discussion posts, looking through those and your intros. We are entering into week 2 of this 12-week course. If you looked on Blackboard already, you saw that the week 2 items have been revealed to you on Blackboard. So we are going to be looking at chapters 2 and 3 this week. Chapter 2 is on managerial decision making. And so some of the things we're going to be looking at are what are some characteristics of managerial decision making? What are decision making components of the brain? What are some barriers that make effective decision making difficult? And so we're going to be looking through those, thinking about emotional intelligence and self-awareness, self-regulation, social skills, and empathy. If you look in the text on chapter 2, you will see there are some things relating to decisions, and most of us know there are multiple types of decisions that we have to make. Some are high involvement, some are low involvement. High involvement decisions, whether it's with purchases or with decisions at work versus decisions that we make every day. So you probably today already, it's Monday, have made some low involvement decisions, right, that are less complex, less costly. And you may make today some high involvement decisions. You may not. You may make some this week. You may not. So those are typically things that involve more thought and more complexity and more cost. Review the decision-making process. Exhibit 2.4 does a nice job of explaining that and kind of honing in on the key concepts there. Some of the things to look through and make sure that you're aware of. You may actually want to look through the PowerPoint first and kind of have that open and ready when you're reading the textbook, and then it helps you. I did have a question about, do we answer the questions in the PowerPoint? The questions in the PowerPoint are really just to jog your thought and have you think about what you read in the text. If you want to have the PowerPoint open for these chapters and kind of answer the questions and find the things like a scavenger hunt that the PowerPoints are asking you. So if you have chapter 2s open, you may want to do that. That may work best for you. So you're going to be looking at some things relating to conflict and how it can be helpful, how it can be beneficial, but also how it can be harmful. All right, so looking at program versus non-program decisions, right, and some of those ramifications. Also, when we're thinking about managerial decision making, right? How are you making decisions? Are you making decisions from an emotional standpoint? Are you making decisions from an ethical standpoint? How are you making those decisions, right? Legal standpoint, what are the types of things you're thinking about when it comes to stakeholder involvement? And so when you're thinking about those things, that is chapter 2, right? When we're talking about some of the managerial decision making processes. In chapter 3, you may want to watch the video first and open the management chapter 3 PowerPoint first. The video, you can actually watch the video second. The video recaps Henry Fayol's 14 Principles of Management, and the 14 Principles really guide a lot of management practices in this day and age. So chapter 3 really gets into, if I can make sure that your chapter 3, is it displaying? I'm just double checking for you. Why your chapter 3 is not displaying. So I'm checking I will make sure that your chapter 3 PowerPoint displays properly. Let's see if we can get it to display. It looks like the chapter 3 PowerPoint, make sure that you click on it and download it. I'm checking it from the student side, and it looks like if you have trouble ever if you have trouble ever viewing online, one of the things that you can do is download Sometimes Blackboard is goofy, I will admit, and some things don't download properly. So for some reason, chapter 3 does not seem to be doing that. So one of your best bets for chapter 3 is to download. And this kind of goes into the history of management, talks about some of the main players, right? Again, when we're talking about a principles class, there are a lot of different, you hit a lot of different areas, right? And so we're going to look at a little bit Frederick Winslow Taylor, Elton Mayo, right? You'll talk about Fayol. And it's kind of a history lesson as to how theories in management and management style came to be, right? So if you review some early contributors, right? And we go back to like some of the philosophical times, the Renaissance, who were some of the players and what were some of the thought processes taking place when we think about management, we think about hierarchy, and we think about problem solving. And then the birth of modern business, how did that come to be? So thinking about Adam Smith, right, and the specialization of labor. Many of you know that, and you're furthering your education because you want to become more specialized, right? Because if you're specialized in an area, typically then you are of higher demand and then you will be paid more, right? So specialization it used to be everyone did all of their own things, right? How many of you make all of your own clothes, make your own soaps, and grow your own food, right? Most of us have something we work on and we do and we get money for, and then we use that money to get those things from somebody who specializes in those things, right? It's kind of our modern society. And then a little bit of history on the Industrial Revolution and how it started in England. And a lot of this could be a review for some of you that are a little bit more familiar with historical items. Also, think about Taylor, right? When we think about Frederick Winslow Taylor, we think about certain styles of how management plays out, right? And some folks really like to follow the Taylor method. Ideas of planning, organizing, staffing, controlling, directing. Some of you already might have positions where you do this, where you work in management and where you are in charge of short-term planning, long-term planning. You might work in the finance area where you are in charge of controlling costs effectively and efficiently, right? In this day and age, that can be a little bit tricky. A few other players, Max Weber, important, and Fayol. Fayol, his 14 concepts, which we will see in the video, a recap of his 4. And so on slide 24, exhibit 3.6, there is a nice way of looking at different folks that contributed to managerial concepts, right? Elton Mayo, Henry Fayol, Max Weber, Chester Bernard, Frederick Winslow Taylor, Follett, Mary Parker Follett. So it talks about some of the key drivers in their strategies, right? So Elton Mayo was big into teams and big into motivation. How are people motivated, right? Motivation comes back around to we're either motivated by reward, right? Or we're motivated to avoid punishment, right? So those are the two main motivators from a psychological standpoint. Henry Fayol was a little bit more interested in organizational design and strategies. Frederick Winslow Taylor, very interested in the motivational standpoints. What drives employees? What drives my team, right? And also involved in human resource and how do we compensate our human resources. This is not just compensation from a monetary standpoint. And so go through and review. This is a really exciting chapter 3. Anyway, but and then there is a short video that relates to chapter 3. So as you go through the different topics, I would say from chapter 2 in particular, maybe you do want to look at the PowerPoint or have it open while you're reviewing the chapter so you can kind of go through and highlight the things that are important relative to the PowerPoint, asking questions, and then you kind of look for those answers. And then I do have homework assignments for these 2 chapters, chapter 2. Those questions are similar to what's in the PowerPoint, right? And so they kind of tie together nicely. The PowerPoint kind of gets you primed for what you need to answer in the homework questions. There are 2 chapters this week, but there is no discussion. So there's a chapter 2 homework, and that is editable. So Basically, the easiest thing to do is download that, and then you can type right on it. You can either type in paragraph form, short answer form, bullet points, any way that, as long as you're answering the question. So if you think of someone that wasn't in the class, if they came in and they read the question and read the answer, they would have some sense of what's going on. That's kind of your driving, your end game for those questions. Same with chapter 3. Download that. So I will have 2 attachments. You can turn it into one doc if you'd like, but 2 attachments coming to me via email. I do not, sometimes the homework Dropbox on this Blackboard Ultra. I've used Blackboard for 20 plus years, but it was Blackboard, the previous version, had very easy seamless Dropboxes. I also use the messaging system within Blackboard. I just have been using the email as they still iron some things out with this Blackboard Ultra. I use that group email that you guys receive from me, and I use email me your homework. Class is small enough still that I can do that, and then I look at the homework and then I put it into your grade book. So if you have questions for me in the meantime, again, there is no discussion this week, and I will work to get your homework and discussion posts graded and have them up under week 1. This week, there's 2 chapters though, however, and chapters 2 and 3 from your text. Where is my text? Right, Principles of Management text. Again, if you have questions, please email me, crobertson@ec3pa.org, or if you have a you can text me, 814-490-6473. At least one copy, if not more, of the text is available. A copy is available in the library. But again, if anyone is interested in a physical copy of the book, you can find them on eBay is where I found them. You don't have to buy them new because I think they're $30 new. If you buy them off OpenStax, you can find them used for 20 or less. But I am on campus Tuesdays and Thursdays if you ever want to meet or by appointment. On Monday or Wednesday or even Friday, let me know. Or we can always do a quick Zoom chat, or we can do a collaboration on here. There is on the tab Class Collaborate, we can get on there and jump on a session. Whatever you'd like to do, we could FaceTime. If you have specific questions or there's something you want to share with me about things going on in your own life relative to management, relevant to the course, please let me know. We will have multiple discussion posts throughout the semester that you're also able to chime in on. So today is Monday, and we are doing chapters 2 and 3 from the text. And you have a wonderful afternoon, and I will talk to you all later.